Hello everybody, once again it's Mr. B here. We're going to go over some of the pieces of evidence for seafloor spreading. So again, you guys have already probably seen this in the original video, but I'm just going to do it a little bit more in detail. Try to go a little bit slower over some of these pieces of evidence to help you guys who might not have understood it the first time. Essentially, guys, what we're looking at here is we know that seafloor spreading is occurring, and we know that seafloor spreading is occurring because we have three major pieces of evidence that support it. And one of the big pieces of evidence that supports it is this thing called pillow rocks. And they're these kind of like, they're rocks that look like pillows, right? And they look like this because there's only one way that we get this specific type of rock formation, and it is if you have molten rock that is coming out of the surface of the earth. So we know that based on, what we see with this process of convection currents, that it's going to force this molten material kind of up towards the surface. We know that if that is happening, that we are going to get some sort of eruption of molten material that comes out of the surface. So when that happens, what we are getting is the formation of these soft looking rocks called pillow rocks. Right? Now, piece of evidence number two is this idea that we have these magnetized stripes. Now, I think I showed it to you guys right here on the last one. These magnetized stripes in which, as time has gone on, the polarity of Earth has changed. So think about that in the sense that we have a compass, and our compass points to the north. That is because of the polarity of Earth. Right? So things that are metal like to be pulled in a very specific direction. Now that has changed as Earth has changed, as time has gone on. And what we're seeing here is that the rocks that are laying on the seafloor are facing different directions based on the polarity. Now, but they're doing it in a very specific pattern. They're doing it in these striping patterns. So you can see right now, it looks like we're going to have a northern facing stripe that's currently closest to the ridge. Well, right before the polarity switch, we had all the rocks being pulled to the south. And then before that, they were being pulled to the north. So you're seeing a very distinct striping pattern that as the seafloor is being spread apart, the direction of the polarity is changing and pulling those rocks that are coming out into a very specific direction. Okay? Now, the final piece of evidence here to support this idea that the seafloor is actually spreading apart is that we're simply able to figure out how old these rocks are, and the age of the rocks is significantly older the further away that you get from the ridge. So we have our ridge, newer rocks are closer to the ridge. It's because new rock material is coming out at the ridge, but the further you go away from the ridge, the older those rocks are. So our three pieces of evidence to support seafloor spreading are the fact that we have these strange looking rocks called pillow rocks that can only happen under the ocean where there's an eruption. We also have these magnetized stripes that form due to the changing of the polarity on Earth. And then we also have the fact that we have older rocks being further away from the ridge and newer rocks being closer. Those are three pieces of evidence to support seafloor spreading. If you need more help, let somebody know. We're here to help you guys.